Back in 2017, on my first ever trip to El Nido, the guys I was with and myself made some really questionable decisions that could have put us in a very bad and dangerous situation. And to be honest, we might have had a little bit of luck on our side getting out of it. This is the story of how we almost were in a very, very bad place during kayaking in El Nido. And this is my first time ever telling it with all the details, not just in a vlog form. So really quickly, for those that don't know, this is a travel story time. I used to do story times all the time, but I stopped a few years ago because I didn't know how to fit it to this channel, the travel format. But recently I found a new format that I think will work really well for it, so I want to give a shout out to Jesse Voltaire before I start any of this. He does a style of editing and video creating that I really like for his vlogs that I thought I could adapt to my story times, change it up a little bit. I don't want to be an exact copy, but I do want to give a shout out for the inspiration to Jesse. Go check his channel out. It's in the link in the description if you like this format that I'm about to use for this video. He does all his vlogs in a very similar format, so go check it out, seriously. So this is a story of bad decisions and getting lucky. I want to take you back to May 2017. It was my first ever time traveling around the Philippines. I was with my brother Chris and our friend Taylor, and we were nearing the end of our trip. El Nido was our last stop. We had spent 3 weeks traveling Cebu, Bohol, Negros, Guimaras, Iloilo, Boracay, and honestly up to this point we'd had a great time. But of course we were just dreaming of El Nido because especially on your first time here, everyone's just dreaming about El Nido. We have to go. Palawan, baby. We managed to get this little place on Agoda that was right by the beach with an absolutely amazing view. I remember we spent that first night just shocked at the view. Like, we had seen so much beautiful stuff here in the Philippines already, and just getting there we were like, wow, we have seen nothing because this is amazing. On our first full day, we knew we really wanted to go kayaking. We knew we were gonna do the tours, but we wanted to do that a bit later. We wanted to just walk along the beach, see if we could find someone to rent some kayaks, and just go around, see what we could find. Now I do need to note that I personally have never kayaked before. I was a Boy Scout back in the day, so I did canoes, but I had never been on a kayak specifically. And even those canoes were like 10 plus years ago, more than 10, like 15 years ago. Now obviously I can't speak for my brother or Taylor. I don't know if they had ever kayaked before. I think Taylor had, but I'm not sure about my brother, honestly. We walked along the beach and managed to find somebody renting them out. We got two, one for Taylor alone and then one that me and my brother would share. We got our kayaks, we're on our way. It was only 500 each. We heard you could get them for 400, maybe 300 if you really try, but we're fine with that. We started off our adventure kayaking El Nido by just going around this really close island that's right there, which I think is what you're just supposed to do. That's what everyone else was doing. We found one really pretty little beach. It's a beach you'll see in most people's vlogs when they kayak around El Nido. We just landed on some random beach that we found. We want to ask somebody how to get to Big Lagoon, but this is gorgeous. Like, I can't believe, Chris was just saying how he can't believe a place like this exists. The water is bluer than Kawasan. It's so nice. This place is just, it's like heaven, man. I want to live here. We spent a little bit there, had a great time, and honestly what we should have done is just continued going around this island because that's what people do, or go to another one that's literally right there. But I saw this island off in the distance and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure we can get there. Having barely any experience on the sea at all. By the way, I had never even seen the ocean before I came to the Philippines. This was my first time. For whatever reason, my brother and our friend agreed to go to this island. This was a really dumb decision. We're leaving the island, back on the journey. Taylor's still back there, so we're gonna wait for a second, but this is gorgeous. We really had no idea how far away it was. Checking later, it's hard to say for sure because I'm not sure what island this actually was. Looking on the maps, and judging by what we found out the next day when we actually did a tour, we would end up going near Big Lagoon, which from what I can tell is about 4 kilometers away. So 4 there and 4 back. So we end up going 8 kilometers in all. So this island we decided to go to is actually 2 little islands that are very close together, and both of them are an area that I don't think many of the tours go to. They go near it, but not exactly to this island. So if anything happened to us out there, we couldn't really easily get anyone's attention. But being on the island isn't really the super stupid part about this. It was going there. All right, guys, we've been rowing for a while, like a long while, and we're finally coming up on this island. It's further away than what we thought, and yeah, we thought we were gonna do more than this today, but I guess we're not, because it's pretty far. We still gotta go back. Everybody else is complaining a lot. My hands do hurt, and it is far. We had to pass over the deepest water I have ever been on with just something like a kayak. For sure. It was basically black. Like, looking down into that water, you can see nothing. So if anything were to happen, I don't know what we'd do. We did have life jackets on. The sun was very, very, very hot that day. Our stupid selves didn't bring food or water. Genius. Tip number 1 when kayaking around El Nido on a very hot sunny day, even if you don't go way off path, bring food and water. We did, however, eventually make it to the island. It took like an hour and a half of just boring rowing with nobody going by us, by the way, because we're not going on a typical path. So like I said, if anything happened, nobody could really help us out there. We'd just be stuck. Like, say the kayak flips or something. I don't know. Is that rare? I have no idea. But once we got to one of the islands, we pushed them in this little cave area. Are you hitting sand right there? Or? Yeah. Awesome. Boys?
My hands are just so numb, like my fingertips.
Guys, we just got to wherever we were going. We found a little cave. We stored the kayaks in this little cave, and I guess we'll swim for a minute before we have to go back, because it's a long ride back. Just swam around, had a really good time. Honestly, it was an awesome place to go because there was nobody there at all, just us. The stupid decisions, however, did not end. We could have just hung out on this island and everything would have been good, but we wanted to go to the other little island that was right there, because why not? So instead of just taking our kayaks over there, like you would think somebody would do, we were like, we're gonna swim it. I'm not a bad swimmer by any means, but at that point especially, I wasn't as good of a swimmer as what I am now. Now wouldn't be an issue. But back then, we took our life jackets off, first of all, because of course we did. We're swimming it. Just me and Taylor swam it. I guess Taylor was fine. He was out ahead of me. I think he was a better swimmer than me then. I don't think I told him this. I was struggling. I was really struggling, and there were points where I'm like, dude, I can't go on, and it was too deep to stand. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? Like, there's nobody here to help me, but somehow I pushed through it and got to the other side. Guess it wasn't that big a deal. Maybe I'm just a little bit of a drama queen sometimes. I don't know. But then when we got on the other side, we see this cliff, and we're like, okay, we're gonna climb this cliff now, which is fine. But it's one of those El Nido really, really jagged cliffs that like cut your hands and feet open. I just noticed that right over here, you can climb up it. So we're gonna go back where Chris is waiting with the kayaks, bring him over here so we can have our shoes, and then climb up there and see what we can see. And we're just climbing it with no real path that's set, which again, it worked out fine. We made it up there, had one of the most beautiful views I've ever seen in my life. It was truly incredible. Man, I hope somebody can fill us down. We have a long ride back, but this is awesome. And that was all fun. That was all really, really, really amazing, and I don't regret doing that. I think it is a very cool experience that not a lot of people get to have in El Nido, just going out to some random island that there's literally not a single other person on and just exploring it yourself. That was amazing, and I wouldn't change that. But then we had to go back to the mainland. All right, we're headed back. We got a long row ahead of us, and my legs are burning, I can feel it. That was definitely the hardest and the scariest part of this whole trip. The water had gotten a lot choppier. I don't know what changed. Coming there, it was fine, it was fun, it was exhausting, but going back, it was really up and down. Water's like hitting up into the kayaks constantly, in some spots. And again, we have no food, we have no water, we'd been out there for hours. The sun is really beating down on us at this point, and we're blistering on our hands. It was just, the exhaustion is very, very hard to describe in this video and really get across to you guys, but it was just pure, true exhaustion with no food. Guys, we are so hungry and thirsty right now. The water is choppy. And we're like maybe halfway. It's tough right now. Don't take a kayak out there. Just take a kayak around the very close areas if you come to El Nido. Just do the tours. Do the tours if you want to see everything. It was bad. I remember getting lightheaded. I remember feeling like I'm gonna faint. I don't know what's gonna happen. I remember feeling like I couldn't go on when we're only like 1/4 of the way back. And I know it took us a lot longer to get back to the mainland than it did to get to the islands. It took us 2 hours plus to get back to the mainland. And I know it's not just me. I don't know how Taylor handled it. Taylor was a bit more in shape than us back then, so maybe he was all right. But Chris, he also was talking about how he was gonna pass out. He didn't feel good. We're close. The death is coming on. It sucks to have made it so far, but to die so close. There's literally no more energy left. I'll soon fall over the edge of this kayak and sink to the bottom. And that'll be the end of me. It was good knowing you guys. It was good knowing you. I hope you liked the vlogs. Surely somebody else will have uploaded all this. Thank you, Chris, for getting back and uploading all the vlogs for me. One thing I do remember that is so funny is when we got back, we gave our kayaks back, and the lady that we rented them from, she asked us where we went with them, and we pointed to the islands we went to and told her. She didn't believe us. She thought we were joking. We're like, no, we went to those islands. She's like, what? I lived somehow. I don't know how. Guys, we just got back to the room. It was something. I'm clearly sunburnt. Sunburnt here. My feet are even sunburnt. My legs. Sun poisoning round 2. Here we go. Tomorrow's not gonna be fun. On the next day, we took a motorboat going on one of the island tours, and I remember it took a good 30+ minutes to get back even around the area where we had kayaked to. And we did all that on kayak. We were just like, why did we do that? So the moral of the story is just be smart and be prepared. I'm not saying that kayaking to an island in the middle of the ocean 4 kilometers away on your first time ever kayaking is the worst thing in the world, but I'm saying maybe, you know, bring some water, bring a little bit of food. Just don't think that you're invincible. I remember that was one of the few times that I look back on and I'm like, man, something could have happened. It's not impossible considering we had no one there to help us in any sort of way if anything went wrong. This was honestly an awesome experience that I wouldn't change at this point. There's really no point because I actually think we could have had a better time just going around the very close island because we wouldn't have exhausted ourselves so badly, and you can actually buy some food and drinks on those islands. Physically, we would have had a better time and we would have still seen beautiful, beautiful places in El Nido. We didn't have to go out to some random islands that nobody goes to. But that's my whole story. Thank you guys so much for watching. I do have some other stories I want to tell. I've had some other interesting things happen that have not been fully shared on the vlogs before. That's sort of the point of this. I want to tell you guys stories of things that have happened to me, the crazier things that have ever happened to me. I want to give another huge shout out to Jesse Voltaire. Let me know what you think of the new style for the story times down in the comments below. And please go check out his channel because Izai and I are actually really big fans of it. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Gonna be putting out story times once a week for now since we're in lockdown and I don't know what else I can possibly do. So get ready for a few more story times. I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep wondering.